subscribers to our midweek technical analysis video. Jumping straight into things here. So starting off from where the market opened up, you can see that price opened up in a bearish fashion, with the first candlestick being here. As you can see, price ended up consolidating throughout the low volume of the market open, with price finding support at that level of 3,365. Price then pushed up to test that same level again of around 3,375 before we then saw some bearish momentum and some slippage, with price touching the previous topside resistance of this consolidation block that we spoke about in our post-week market analysis. Since then, price has then created higher highs and higher lows, with price now pushing back up in a bullish fashion. So let's go ahead and draw a few trend lines again. I will go ahead and mark these in white as well. Remember, we're going to catch as many wicks as we can, drawing them from our point A to our point B and then simply dragging it into the future. So we're grabbing as many wicks as we can and just dragging it into the future, right on the top side of that wick, just like that. So as you can see, we are sort of creating those higher highs and higher lows, and we're going to go ahead and establish those higher lows now with our second trend line. Again, drawing it from point A to point B and not crossing the body of any candlesticks. So we have our sort of bullish wedge, this bullish wedge that we've established. As you can see, price has been creating higher highs and higher lows. Higher highs and higher lows, higher highs, and then the most recent higher low of around 3,375, which sits perfectly on one of our points of interest, which is in fact the previous resistance of this higher high here. Obviously, we do have this slippage, which sort of invalidates this higher high, higher low formation, but due to it being probably an economic news event or some sort of big injection of volume, we're going to take it out and just sort of ignore it as it's not normal price action. So with that being said, what could we expect for the rest of the week? So with the current price action we are seeing, we are going to expect a bullish continuation. Obviously, our next point of interest that we have marked in on the chart is the level of 3,433. However, there is going to be some lower time frame levels in and throughout this sort of blank area here. The main level that I want to focus on is going to be this level of 3,400. If we see price come to this level and test it as a resistance, there is a high probability that price will then flip bearish and pass this pivotal point of around 3,375 to 3,370. However, if we see this level of 3,400 passed, we are going to expect price to somewhat go closer and closer to that 3,433 level. Overall, gold has been bullish this week so far, creating a nice sort of bullish wedge. As you can see, we've now established that with our trend lines, and as you can see, the wedge is now coming to an end. The perfect setup for this wedge would have been, so we create our first higher high, we sort of push higher and higher and higher, and then we sort of wanted to see price test on this level as a support. But as you can see, we are still testing at that same level. If price has just moved sideways on this level, so we are still in this bullish wedge, which is nice to see. And now what we're going to expect with current price action and candlestick structure that we are seeing, we're going to expect that we see price create that next higher high, which will probably be at the level of 3,400. Price could just test at the level of 3,400 and then drop back down, creating its next higher high somewhere around this region. The reason why I say this region is, as you can see, we sort of created that lopsided head and shoulders pattern, if you will, where price sort of tested. Again, it's the sort of midpoint higher high as well, and then price came up to test it as a resistance. So we'd expect price to come around there, around about 3,385 as the next higher low, and then price to push up higher and higher. There's not actually too much to go over in this midweek technical analysis. The price action and candlestick structure is exactly the same from our post-week market review, so there's not actually too much more to touch up on other than price is continuing in a bullish fashion, with price creating higher highs and higher lows. So I think I'm going to wrap that up here for our midweek technical analysis. As always, I hope you're all enjoying our technical analysis videos and our updates, our economic reports. If you aren't in the Discord already, make sure to join. And if you do have a challenge account with us, good luck. I wish you all the best. I hope you pass. I hope I can start approving you some payouts. But yeah, that's going to be our midweek technical analysis. I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.